With the shuttle game rapidly gaining interest in Africa, badminton is a fast-developing sport in the world's second largest and second most populous continent. The region recently held the All Africa Championships 2017 in Benoni, South Africa. And Badminton Unlimited took our cameras to John Barrable Hall to find out more.
The Confederation was created around 1985, and from there we had championship on and off. But we can say championship started like on a regular basis since '92. At that time we were playing the Africa Championship every 2 years. But now since 2007 we have started playing every year. So the Africa Championship is actually an annual feature.
Played over a 2-week period where team honours and individual glory are contested, the All Africa Championships is the most high-profile badminton event in the continent.
Our African Championships is actually our most prestigious event. It's a yearly event where all the top African players come together to play for the African title. So we do have 5 events. The men's singles, women's singles, men's doubles, women's doubles and mixed doubles for the individual part of the competition. And before that we also play the team event competition, which it's based on the Sudirman Cup format.
Gold medalist Kate Fukun, Mauritius.
I think it's the most important title that I can get as an African player, to win the African Championships. And I've been winning it for the past 2 years, now it's my 3rd.
In the last decade, badminton has expanded its footprint across Africa. And with more African countries embracing the fastest racket sport, emerging badminton nations have recently started to make their mark on the continental level.
If you go like 10 years back, badminton was nearly like only 3 countries were winning everything. Mauritius, South Africa and Nigeria. But we went a long way in the past 10 years, and now there is a big spread of medals in Africa. We have like 6 countries on the top now. On those 3 countries I just said, we had Algeria, Egypt and Seychelles. Like for this one we are going to have 4 countries on the top, and down you are going to have like a spread among 8 countries, spread of all the medals around 8 countries, which is very good for us for the development of the sport.
In the team event competition, Zambia won the bronze medal, and Zambia is not one of the top countries, so it's a good sign again. And you have countries like Algeria and Egypt who won medals, and especially Egypt, who won the gold medal in the team event for the first time.
Before there was not a lot of countries playing badminton, not a lot of players, and now we see more and more countries, more and more players wanting to qualify for the Olympics, so that's good improvement. But we are still very far from Europe and Asia, but hopefully in the next years that will change.
Although there has been progress, there's still a need to improve the developmental infrastructure within the member associations if African nations are to compete on the international stage.
When you look in Africa, there is no countries has like a strong national setup of national team. Most of them either play in clubs or play in their own region and so on. There is not real national structure for their national team. And then national training in some of the countries really do not exist at all. So for us, when some of our African players are training either in Europe or some in Asia, it's really good for us, because there they compete like on a daily basis. They have many tournaments to play, and they play with different opponents. And you know, if you play against your own friend every day, you will never improve. You have to go out and play against different players. This is where you improve. So this is an advantage for us when some of our players are training in Europe or in Asia.
Although badminton is gaining popularity in several territories, it is still in its infancy in large parts of Africa. While interest in the sport is strong, most member associations lack government support and have limited resources.
Badminton is not a highly ranked sport in Africa. Nearly all the governments, their first priority is to put their money in football. Nearly, we can say in Africa, nearly 90% of the sports money goes to football. and the rest of it, over 30 sports take only 10%. And out of that 10%, in most of African countries, badminton nearly get nothing out of it. We are 42 countries in Africa. We can say around only 6 countries where the government really put a little money in badminton. But the rest is on and off, and sometimes nearly nothing. But this is the biggest challenge. And secondly, our sport is not like a big sport like soccer or whatever in Africa. So we basically cannot generate any income of sponsorship.
Despite the challenges faced, badminton is slowly gaining a foothold in Africa. And in a continent with over 1.2 billion people, there are badminton gems waiting to be discovered.
We have really some good talents in Africa. Or I'll just call it this way, we have very good raw material, but we don't really have the means or the system or infrastructure to do a good finishing with them. But this, I think, in my opinion, it's not going to change for the next 5 years. But for sure, in the next 10 years, you're going to see some very good faces from Africa on the world scene.